Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for coming. I'd like to call to order the Town Council meeting in the town of Batesburg-Leesville on April the 9th, 2018. And thank you again for everyone being here. And at this time, if we could stand, I'd like to ask Reverend Tillman Gibbs if he would lead the invocation for us.
Let's bow our heads. Dear Lord, we thank you for allowing us to be here once more again to participate in the Town Council meeting. We ask the blessings of each and every one of our council people, persons, our mayor, our managers, and everyone that has anything to do with the upkeep of the town. And we also ask the blessings upon the families. And also, Father God, we just thank you for the opportunity to serve. We thank you for the opportunity to be here just one more time. For it's because of you, Father God, that we are here. Not because of ourselves, but because you have been so gracious to us to allow us to be here another day. We ask the blessing again of each and every one. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. At this time, the third item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'd like to introduce our veteran, Mr. Elin Bizarre, if you would come up. Elin is a 1967 graduate of Batesburg-Leesville High School, 1969 graduate of Anderson College, 1971 graduate of Baptist College in Charleston. In 1973, he entered the United States Army, was assigned to the 138th Military Police Company. He worked at the Civil Warrants Section, and he worked with the FBI, the DEA, SLED, etc. It's quite the resume.
All the different civil authorities.
That's fantastic.
Federal judges, and magistrates, and process servers, and all kinds. Anything to do with civil authority.
Anything to do with it. That's awesome. 1978, joined McIntyre Army Guard and worked in helicopter maintenance. Married, 2 children, 2 grandchildren. Well, great, and thank you, Mr. Bizarre, for your service. Lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, thank you, Mr. Bizarre. Thank you for your service.
I think Ted said something about buying a helicopter, so we'll be in touch.
We're going to park it next to the MIRV. That's right.
But my question is, why doesn't the minister get a bio?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. It's a level of service is different. No acknowledgement. Sorry. Next on the item is the adoption of the minutes for the regular council meeting March the 12th. I'm sorry. Thank you. Approval of the agenda. Thank you very much.
So moved.
Simpkins and Gambrell. Any discussion? District 1?
Yes.
2?
Yes.
3?
District 3 votes yes.
4?
District 4 votes yes.
5?
Yes.
6?
Yes.
7?
Yes.
8?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Agenda is approved unanimously. Moving on to the adoption of the minutes. Section A, which is the regular council meeting March 12th, 2018. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Jim Mitchell. Second?
Second.
Linda Deloach, that's who I heard. Any discussion?
There is. I'm trying to figure out what it is.
I believe there was a matter of the record with your vote.
Indigent defense vote.
The indigent defense vote.
The vote was changed, and it's not indicated in the minutes.
It is noted below that you requested your vote be changed.
Is it in there?
I did see that. It doesn't count under the approved and denied.
That was the indigent defense.
Yes. That was a question that I had. Then I looked further and found that it was Here we go, Councilmember Simpkins stated that item C under new business, discussion regarding the request from, nope, sorry, wrong section. Yeah, here we go. Councilmember Simpkins stated he wished to note a change in his vote for the indigent defense contract from a no vote to a yes vote. That's under B, town judge contract.
So that's,
That's what he asked.
It occurred after the town judge.
so the public
So we
record
put
will
the
show,
note there.
the public will reflect Charles's wish on that vote. Is that correct?
Just in there. Mhm.
Thank you.
Any other question? Thank you. Jason? I'll call for the vote. District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
District 3 votes yes.
4,
District 4 votes yes.
5,
Yes.
6,
District 6, yes.
7,
Yes.
8,
Yes.
and I vote yes. The minutes have been adopted on the March 12th meeting.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes?
if we could, we did miss the public hearing at the very top of the agenda. If we could go ahead and knock that public hearing out. The public hearing on the ordinance amending the town's flood damage prevention ordinance to conform to Lexington County. I mean, we can do it at this point.
Should we complete the
Off
adoption?
agenda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can.
Should we complete the adoption of minutes and then do it before we get to?
Right, well, oh, I'm sorry,
Well,
I'm not voted on.
We've already done the
I'm sorry,
agenda.
Work session.
We've already voted on the, yeah, so right now we're on the work session.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I butted in before y'all voted on the,
Yes, you did.
on the adoption of minutes. Once that's done,
Somebody gave him his medicine. So the work session, do I have a motion?
So moved.
So,
First and a second. Is it Ola?
Oh,
Thank you. And any discussion on the work session, March 26th? District 1,
Yes.
2,
yes.
3,
District 3 votes yes.
4,
District 4 votes yes.
5,
Yes.
6,
Yes.
7,
Yes.
8,
Yes.
and I vote yes. The minutes for the work session on March 26th have been adopted. Moving on to item 5.6, which is the mayor's report. Our next regular council meeting will be May 14th, 2018. Mark your calendars for that exciting night. And item B, council committees reports.
We're going back to, we're not going to do the public hearing?
We got to do the public hearing for the ordinance for, okay, so we'll go up and do that instead of the report. Thank you. So how do I pause the meeting to go into public session?
That's what I was.
Thank you.
We actually need to adjourn this meeting, have the public hearing, and then call the meeting back to order.
Okay,
Move we adjourn.
do I have a second?
Second.
Simpkins? Any discussion? District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
District 3 votes yes.
4,
District 4 votes yes.
5, 6,
Yes.
7,
Yes.
8,
Yes.
and I vote yes. We are now adjourned. And this opens now the public hearing for the ordinance amending the town's flood damage prevention ordinance to conform to Lexington counties. Anyone wish to speak from the public on this ordinance? This is where you need that Jeopardy music. It comes in really handy. Anyone? All right, then I will close the public hearing.
Wait a minute. So, the map of the flood zone, does it cover, what areas does it cover?
I would have to go pull it out.
Right, so how are we going to notify?
This was not regarding a change to the flood map. This was for the, yes, it was for the updated map.
Yes, it was.
June 3rd, I believe it was.
When you say updated, are we adding places that were not in flood zones to flood zones? The reason I'm asking is for homeowners, so that it don't affect their insurance, and how's that? I don't understand.
Can we cover this into discussion at the second reading? and we can go get them out. We're not in the point of discussion.
We're actually in the public hearing.
This is in the
Okay.
public hearing.
Yeah.
And I can have Seth go grab them out.
Okay, anyone from the public? All right, this ends the public session on the ordinance amending the town flood damage prevention ordinance to conform to Lexington counties. And I would like to call this meeting to order one more time. Welcome, thank you for coming. We're going to continue down to item 6A. Once again, next regular council meeting is May 14th, 2018. And item B1, the council committee's report. Central Midlands Councilman Olin Gambrell, do you have anything to report from the COG?
COG met on March 22nd to go over the following items: approval of the board meeting minutes, adoption of the annual listing of obligated projects, functional classification amendment. Holly Street and Vernon Street was changed from what was that word they used? They used the word, change it from one, to get it on there now. It was under a listing that did not get it moved up to the front.
I'm not sure.
For example,
Did they expedite it, is what you're saying?
now they just moved from one group to another.
Reprioritized
Yes,
in the same way? Yeah, there you go.
this
It'll work.
is a listing of all the county, of all the regions' roads, and they moved it from one section to the other section to get it done. Also, they, went through transportation again. Boy, they're spending a lot of money on transportation. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor, unless somebody has a question.
Any questions for Olin? Thank you, sir. Moving on to item 2, EPAC, Council Member Prouse.
EPAC has not yet met this month, so we're scheduled to meet next Wednesday, the 18th.
Thank you. And Joint Municipal Water Sewer Commission, I did attend their meeting, and if you notice on your drive to Lexington, if you do have to go to Lowe's or something in Lexington on a Sunday, you'll notice some great big sewer pipes out there on Highway 1 and Cox Ferry Road. You could drive a small car through it, I think, a pretty good size. Basically what that is Joint Water and Sewer Commission is putting a new tank. It's a stand-to-pipe style tank that's going to go there. It's a 2 million gallon tank and a booster pump. And so that is what, that's basically the tower that's going to help move water in that direction and westward. They also approved the hiring of a new employee, and another person retired during that meeting. So they keep doing great things in the county. Moving on to item C is the chamber report, and Mike Taylor is not here, but I did receive an update from him. And Mike said the Economic Development Committee has not had a meeting since the last town council meeting, and their next meeting will be this Thursday morning at the Midlands Technical College at 7:30 a.m. Arts on the Ridge Committee is preparing for the 2 summer camps for kids. The first is a visual arts camp, which will take place at BL Elementary School, July 16th through the 19th, and a performing arts camp from July 23rd to 28th at Faith Lutheran Church. The BL Middle School art teacher Amber Balknight will teach the visual art campers, and the Bailey Players will conduct the performing arts camp. I believe it's the same group as last year. The Dream Catchers, very active as always. Just completed a raffle, a candy sale, and preparing for their basketball tournament, which will be held this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the BL Leisure Center. They also have 20 raised beds planted at Whittle Farm that they will harvest as they're ready. And plans are being made for a tour of Berwick Offray. And Susan, that's an excellent tour, by the way. The kids will love it. The Ministerial Alliance held a community Good Friday service at Leesville United Methodist Church. The service was well attended and appreciated by all in attendance. The Chamber also hosted a Cruising for a Cure dance, which was a fundraiser for Relay for Life. It was a great evening. The highlight was a special dance for the survivors, cancer survivors and their spouses. And it was a very nice event. Congressman Joe Wilson had a manufacturing apprenticeship forum at the Midlands Technical College Airport Auditorium on Tuesday, April 3rd. This brought together manufacturers and educators for a presentation and discussion on building a skilled workforce for today's manufacturers. There are 100,000 students in 16 different technical colleges in South Carolina. Also, South Carolina produces 100,000 tires a day. BMW produces over 400,000 vehicles a year. BMW has invested $8.9 billion since 1992 and exports 70% of their production. And they have gone from a 1.2 million square foot to 6.4 million square foot building. Have brought over 40 direct suppliers to the state. And then Boeing produces 12 streamliners per month. And that was the report from Congressman Joe Wilson. Let's see, there's another little thing that Mike had here. There's an educators panel for Transform SC and SC Technical Colleges Apprenticeship Carolina, SC Department of Employment Workforce, and a manufacturers panel for BMW MTU Savannah River Nuclear Solutions. Any questions on the chamber report, get a hold of Mike Taylor at the chamber. Thank you. Moving on to item 7, public comment regarding items on the agenda. Is there any cards? There are no cards. Moving on to 8, unfinished business. It says second reading, an ordinance to repeal and replace the town's employee policy and procedure manual.
Move the table.
We have a move to table.
Yes. And we can discuss it. We can lift it off the table if we want.
So I call for a vote on. Yeah, does anyone?
I second.
Okay. And any discussion on the table and a second? Any discussion?
Well, the reason is I'm having some unreadiness because the point of changing the manual was to simply insert dates, holidays for the town. And what happened was we have repealed the entire handbook. And there's no reason for that. Because you're repealing several ordinances to do something that you could have done with an amendment. And nobody has had the time to sit there and check to make sure that what we're replacing, when we repeal and replace, that what we're replacing is the exact same thing. It's less the dates that we had before. So I don't know why we had to replace and repeal when we have a review of the manual coming up next year. So that's my unreadiness, is that I'm not quite sure why the whole entire thing had to be replaced to just insert those new dates.
When is the review of this manual? What's the time frame of that, Teddy? Normal time frame of the entire manual review. Is there a normal time frame when this is reviewed annually?
You're talking about when we do a full review every 5 years?
Whatever that is.
It's recommended every 5 years.
And when is the next?
2019, so first of the year.
Next year.
Next
Okay.
year.
Yeah, and Mayor, I don't think anybody's really sat there and read that thing and everything is word for word.
I don't know that it's exactly word for word, but
that's important because when I was a part of the last council and we had some things that we wanted to do. Staff had some things that they wanted to do. Of course, council's is what happened. So I'm not sure, I have not had a chance to, I came here early today, try to review as much as I could. I just have some unreadiness of repealing, the idea that we repealed the entire ordinance just to, when we could have amended, gives me pause, that's all. So we can vote on the table and we can move on to, if nobody else has any.
Anybody else?
Pause.
I had concerns in reference to the repeal process also, even though I voted for first reading. It did seem kind of awkward and strange to me that the entire manual would need to be repealed in order to make one ordinance change. And I was informed that there were other ordinances that had been illegally placed in the manual. And my question was, well, why wasn't council briefed or informed that these ordinances were illegal? That's what we pay an attorney for, to keep us legal. And so I was not in agreement with the procedure that was followed in terms of those ordinances being placed in the manual. The attorney, in my opinion, should have informed council of the legal process.
Mr. Mayor, can we have an example of what the councilmen are talking about so we can compare, this is what's voted on and this is the way it reads? I mean, if there's a problem, I want to correct it.
Absolutely, I agree.
All right, then give me something to look at on paper that shows X was changed to B and
Yeah, I mean, we've all had the manual. We had the manual in March. We have the manual now. And again, I'm not saying either way, but I don't know that we've had what we compare back and forth, what Steve's referring to, or Charles or Shirley. So I don't know about that. My understanding is that the only thing that was changed was a holiday, and that we had.
It's not the only thing that was changed.
Right, I understand. If you let me finish my sentence.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So my understanding was that there were items, ma'am?
I was talking to you, go ahead.
Okay. There are items that were voted on once by prior council instead of twice by ordinance. And that we've been operating, we being the prior council and town, has been operating on this manual in good faith.
That's a legal,
Is that
that's
right?
a legal term that you just used, in good faith. And the good faith doctrine allows that those are
Right.
now
So-
codified into law.
And again, I'm not really arguing either way. I just didn't have a concern because that's my understanding of what we were doing, that the only change was the holiday and that we were codifying the ones that were voted on once. And that's what I was trying to just do. So if we want to, if everyone feels like that's not, like something's being slipped in, then fair enough. But
I would like for us to have just amended the manual to include those dates. But when you repeal and replace a law, an ordinance, that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
We amend ordinances all the time, but this was a full repeal and replace.
And what gave, because it is a big deal,
Right.
and I felt like we were operating on something that was not codified and have been for some time. That's why I said, I want this thing to be done with 2 votes. That's the only reason.
But it's codified, but, I don't want to belabor this thing. I think that we should table it and everybody take a chance, take time to read it,
Mm-hmm.
so that we are sure that what we are voting on is what is represented to us as, the same. Or we can just amend the current manual to add those dates. I mean, that's the simplest thing to do. But whatever, I'm with the will of council on this.
Can't we have discussion of this topic in our work session this month?
Certainly.
So everybody would be clear on what's taking
We need
place.
to compare the two, so you can see the difference.
Certainly.
But now that also means that council is gonna have to take the time to read.
It would,
Yes.
it would be helpful.
Yes, exactly.
So you can't, come with complaints and if you're not.
Well, nobody was complaining the last time, and I know what you're talking about. My nephew really did have emergency surgery, and that's why I was out, and that's why I didn't read it. So don't come with that. Please don't.
Okay, I didn't mean to stir up the
Any other discussion?
the nest, but I just wanna make sure that everybody's comfortable with what we're voting on is, you know, cause let me say, it takes a lot to repeal an ordinance.
And you understand why
Yes.
I did it, I was just,
Yes,
yeah.
right, so.
I don't like operating on something that's not correct.
Well, I'm saying, I'm.
But and you feel the same way, Steve, so
Yeah.
it's just, we're looking at different things.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
going
perfect.
to abide by the will of council in this.
All right, so we have a move to table by Councilman Kane and a second by Councilwoman Shirley Mitchell. Any other discussion? District 1?
No.
2? 3?
District 3 votes yes.
4?
District 4 votes yes.
5?
5 votes yes.
6?
No.
7?
No.
8?
No.
And mayor votes yes. Motion passes 5-4. Or motion fails 5-4, sorry, thank you. All right.
Mr. Mayor, can I make a motion that we have in front of us a list of ordinances or sections of this ordinance that has been changed one way or another, so we may compare the differences with the list of what it was, what it is now, and if it needs to be changed. If it had one reading, we're gonna have 2 readings. See what I'm saying? Because for Ted and his staff to reproduce a copy of each one in 2 weeks, he's good, but he ain't that good. In order to get it to us,
Right.
it ain't that, I mean, no. And please don't put it on the internet and let us read it.
I know the phone's really small on it.
Do you need that in the form of a motion or just an observation?
I think we can add this in our potential agenda items for next month's meeting, yes?
In order to do that, we have to table.
We've got to table it, yeah,
In order to do it, we have to table it.
we have to table it,
Give us
so.
time to.
There's 2 options, you table it or you vote.
No, we voted not to table it.
Not to table it.
So,
You either
Mr.
table
Mayor,
it or reading.
I move again that we table so that we can discuss it as distinguished councilman from District 2 has suggested, that we table and come back at it next month. So we still have first reading. We'll get as much information as people need to have, and then we'll come back next month and vote on it. Take it off the table next month. But I concur with the distinguished gentleman from District 2.
And we're okay doing this motion twice? We can, right?
Yeah, it's good down, you can go back again.
Okay. Can we-
You need a second on his motion?
Yes.
Yeah, he's sitting there and getting paid, so I'm asking that.
Do you need a second?
Yes, sir.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion to table by Councilman Kane and a second by Councilman Gambrell. Any more discussion on this matter? District 1? 2?
Yes.
3?
District 3 votes yes.
4?
District 4 votes yes.
5?
Yes.
6?
Yes.
7?
No.
8?
No.
And mayor votes yes. And tabled until further notice about that.
All right.
Moving on, second reading ordinance amending the town's flood damage prevention to conform to Lexington counties. I have a motion.
I make the motion.
Yes, sir.
I second that.
Make a motion, okay, so the motion is that we approve the recommended changes to the town flood damage prevention ordinance to correct the date in Article 1, Section D, and approve the new language to Article 4, to be specific.
Okay, just to go back to Councilman Kane's question, this was not an actual change of the flood map that shows where the flooding is going to occur. It was a change to the flood insurance rate map that determines the rates, not where the actual flood zones are.
So
There's no change to that.
No
I
change to
actually
the flood
called
zone.
Patricia as well, who
Alright.
was dealing with this, and she said there was no change to the actual flood map.
Thank you for the clarification.
I have a question in reference to item 1D. It says that the new policy would reflect FEMA's flood insurance study that they did on July 5th, 2018. That date has not occurred yet.
It'd be very difficult to.
This in the,
What's in the packet? I read that.
Yeah, I see that. I think they may have put 2017. We put what they told us, but I think they misput on that. I think July 5th, 2017 was what was meant. So the motion can be amended to make that correction.
I so moved it be amended.
Second? Linda? Thank you. And so the motion on the table was that we approve the recommended changes to the town's flood damage prevention ordinance to correct the date in Article 1, Section D, and improve the new language to Article 4, being that the year reflects 2017 rather than 2018. Any other discussion?
2017 out of the correct date.
Is the correct date. Any other discussion?
Wait, hold on. Wait.
Something from the peanut gallery?
Yes.
All right.
What did he say, Ted?
I think he was showing us something on Instagram.
Okay, never mind.
It's saying we have to have it adopted by July 5th, 2018.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you for the clarification.
Call for the vote?
District 1?
Yes.
2?
2, yes.
3?
District 3 votes yes.
4?
District 4 votes yes.
5?
Yes.
6?
Yes.
7?
Yes.
8? And I vote yes.
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 Sorry, did I skip you?
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to rush. All right. Trying to move things along. Passes unanimously, thank you. All right, moving on to new business. Proclamation, School Library Month. Yeah, Charles, if you would read that, please.
Town of Batesburg-Leesville proclamation. Whereas School Library Month is a national observance sponsored by the American Association of School Librarians and school libraries across the country. And whereas Lexington School District 3 schools joining celebrating the importance of school libraries and the contribution of our libraries and librarians, and whereas throughout the month, the school library will offer activities to highlight the various services it offers to students and staff, ranging from storytelling, information to help improve reading skills, and how to use the internet. And whereas the theme is School Libraries Transform Learning, with emphasis to increase public awareness and support the libraries and librarians for the key role they play in our lives. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Town Council of Batesburg-Leesville do hereby proclaim April 2018 as School Library Month throughout the town of Batesburg-Leesville, and call upon all residents of this great town to join us in supporting the aims and goals and highlighting the awareness of the importance of libraries in our schools. Dated this 9th day of April 2019, Town of Batesburg-Leesville, the Honorable Lancer D. Shaw, Manager, attests Judy D. Edwards, Town Clerk.
Did you say manager?
You said manager.
Also,
I'm not getting paid that much.
Hold on, how much are you getting? Because we're not getting nothing. You're looking at it.
They gave me water. That's an
18, the second thing.
Oh, my. Yeah, do I have a motion to approve the proclamation?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Gambrell, Prouse, any discussion? District 1?
Yes.
2?
Yes.
3?
District 3 votes yes.
4?
District 4 votes yes.
5?
Yes.
6?
Yes.
7?
Yes.
8?
Yes.
And Mayor votes yes, proclamation passes. Item B, proclamation of Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Whereas sexual assault affects adults and children in South Carolina, not only as victim survivors, but also as family members, loved ones, friends, neighbors, or co-workers of a victim. And whereas sexual assault is one of the most devastating crimes in our society today, with victims often suffering lifelong pain from physical injury and serious emotional trauma. And whereas volunteers and service providers in our communities are dedicated to providing care to sexual assault survivors through 24-hour hotlines, counseling, support groups, advocacy, medical care, and education. And whereas the 2018 observance of Sexual Assault Awareness Month encourages people to learn more about sexual violence and its prevention, and how to help survivors heal from this personal violation. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Town Council of Batesburg-Leesville hereby proclaim April 2018 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month throughout the town of Batesburg-Leesville, and encourages all citizens to work together to prevent sexual assault and ensure a life free from harm for the residents of our community and state. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion, and Holman. Any discussion? District 1?
Yes.
2?
Yes.
3?
District 3 votes yes.
4?
District 4 votes yes.
5?
Yes.
6?
Yes.
7?
Yes.
8?
Yes.
And I vote yes, proclamation passes. Thank you. Where is the child? This is the poetry festival. I missed printed one. I've got it.
I did.
Hold on 1 second. Jim, you have one?
Jim has.
Thank you, sir. Oh, I'm a senior.
Town of Batesburg-Leesville proclamation. Whereas every child is entitled to grow up in a safe, loving, and stable family, protected from verbal, sexual, emotional, and physical abuse, exploitation, and neglect. And whereas child abuse continues to be one of our nation's and state's most serious public health problems, with the combined direct and indirect cost of child maltreatment in the millions. And whereas all citizens play a vital role in preventing child abuse and neglect by promoting healthy, nourishing relationships between children and adults. And whereas preventing child abuse and neglect is a community issue that depends on involvement among people throughout the community, and whereas programs that are effective and research proven in the prevention of child abuse succeed because of partnerships formed between families, social service agencies, schools, faith communities, civic organizations, child welfare advocacy organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. And whereas it is entirely appropriate for the Town Council of Batesburg-Leesville to add to its collective voice in support of these worthy partnerships and programs. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Council of Batesburg-Leesville affirms its dedication to the future success of South Carolina's young people and to the prevention of child abuse and neglect, and declare the month of April 2018 as Child Abuse Prevention Month, dated this 9th day of April 2018. Lancer D. Shaw, Mayor Judy Edwards, Town Clerk.
So thank you, Charles. We have a motion?
Linda Cobb.
Linda Lewis.
Second.
Second, Holman. Any discussion? District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
District 3 votes yes.
4,
District 4 votes yes.
5,
Yes.
6,
Yes.
7,
Yes.
8,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Proclamation passes. Moving on to item D, proclamation of the Poultry Festival Day 2018. Mr. Mitchell, if you would do the honors, please.
Be glad to. Whereas the South Carolina Poultry Festival is sponsored by the Leesville Merchants Association, and whereas the 2018 South Carolina Poultry Festival will be celebrating 32 years of existence in the town of Batesburg-Leesville, and whereas with the dedication of the volunteers of the Poultry Festival Committee, the South Carolina Poultry Festival has been and continues to be one of the most popular and successful festivals in the state. And whereas the South Carolina Poultry Festival provides a day for the entire family to enjoy the many activities and events scheduled, and whereas the South Carolina Poultry Festival honors the poultry industry, which is vital to the economy, health, and well-being of our community, state, and nation, now, therefore, let it be resolved that the Mayor and Town Council of Batesburg-Leesville do hereby proclaim Saturday, May 12, 2018 as South Carolina Poultry Festival Day. And we extend an invitation to everyone to join in the celebration of this event. This is dated the 9th day of April, 2018. Lancer D. Shaw, Mayor.
Thank you, Jim. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Simpkins and Mr. Mitchell. Any discussion? District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
District 3 votes yes.
4,
District 4 votes yes.
5,
Yes.
6,
Yes.
7,
Yes.
8,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Proclamation passes. Thank you, Jim. Moving on to item E, resolution of Poultry Festival yard sales. Whereas the Leesville Merchants Association is sponsoring the 32nd Annual South Carolina Poultry Festival on Friday, May 11, 2018, and Saturday, May 12, 2018, and whereas the Town Council of Batesburg-Leesville has determined it to be in the best interest of vendors participating at the South Carolina Poultry Festival to prohibit yard sales in certain areas within the Batesburg-Leesville town limits, and whereas no yard sale shall be permitted within the area of the Poultry Festival as shown on the attached map, and therefore be it further resolved that this resolution shall be in effect for the Poultry Festival weekend on Friday, May 11th, and Saturday, May 12th, 2018. Give this date the 9th of April, 2018. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So Jim Mitchell, and seconds by Charles. Any discussion? District.
Has the boundary lines changed?
No, sir.
Any?
No, sir.
They are the same.
Any other discussion? District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
Yes.
4,
District 4 votes yes.
5, 6,
Yes.
7,
Yes.
8,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Proclamation or declaration, resolution, thank you, passes. Moving on to discussion regarding the request from the BBA, the Batesburg Business Association, to make improvements to town-owned property located on Pine Street.
Motion to adopt.
Second. Go. Sorry. Linda.
Okay, real quick, they're proposing to work on that vacant property that the town owns on Pine Street. I believe their request is simply to be given permission, since it is town property. Council would just need to give permission for the improvement of that property, so.
Ted, that's directly across from Jesse's alteration.
It's correct.
Vacant lot.
So I would think the form of motion would be more about giving them the permission to make enhancements or improvements upon the town property.
How will it be financed?
Let's get the motion up before we do discussion, yes? Or,
We just did.
oh, you got the motion in second?
And we do have Ms. Lois Black in attendance tonight as well for any questions.
Can we hear from her?
Yeah,
Ms.
Yes.
Lewis,
please.
You may hear from me.
come on.
Come on up, come on up, come
I
on up.
have a strong voice, but if you
No,
want me
please,
to come up
please,
here,
please.
then I'll do so.
Please.
It's recorded for posterity.
Okay, what we would like to do is, we would like to improve the property. We would like to get all of Pine Street from 23 to the traffic light on number 1, just improved, because it's heavily traveled and it looks horrible. So we've been in contact with some of the local businesses there, with the facades on their storefronts, improving those. We have financial money, we have the finances to improve this property. We have about $20,000 that we have raised to help enhance Pine Street. You know, we're gonna, what we want to put there, what we're proposing to put there will not be high maintenance for the town at all, but it would be a wonderful improvement for the community. It will also have a few little benches in there, so pedestrians in the area would be able to just sit. And, you know, beautiful flower pots with low maintenance succulents and things like this. So it would be directly across from Jesse's Alterations. And we're hoping to work on, you know, other parts of Pine Street as well. This is going to be a starting point for us, and if we can do this and let the community see what we can look like, you know, we know that we'll be able to move from there and just do more and more improvements in our district, and Lord knows our district needs improvement. And so the Batesburg Business Association is proposing that you allow us to enhance this property that will improve our district and our town overall.
Ms. Lewis, will the town be responsible for liability in the?
Of course, the town owns it. So they would be responsible for the liability of the property, not for what we're improving. What we do, what we're going to be spending our money on, you know, we're going to do, we will do that. And it's not going to be, we're not hiring a lot of this out. Most of this is volunteers that are willing to donate this to the community to improve our community as well. This is where our funds go a lot further by doing that. So, and anything that, what we're going to be doing, we're not digging in the ground. You know, we're not going to do anything like that. We're just trying to improve the property. There should be lighting installed there. Now, that would be something that the town would need to consider with the lighting. You know, it doesn't have to be, but there actually needs to be more lighting installed in the whole downtown Batesburg district area. But this is, I know all of you've ridden by there and you've looked. You see the alley. It's horrible. You know, the effects of that alley when you ride down Pine Street, which is one of the most heavily traveled streets in our community. Traffic-wise, you know, we don't want people coming through our community to see that. So, what we're wanting to do is to improve that. We're wanting to put up a facade that you don't see this alley, that you just see this beautiful little sitting area in our community. We're also wanting to move out from, once we've done that, we want to move out and to the other storefronts along Pine Street. And eventually we're going to carry this on into other areas of the downtown Batesburg district that needs much improvements. But right now, we've already held a couple fundraisers for this particular area, to improve this particular area, because that's the one that gets the most complaints. Because it needs improvement. So what we're asking is for permission of the town to allow us to improve your property. We're not going to put anything on there that would be a liability for the town as far as it bringing damage to anyone there. That would be there visiting the property with this sort of thing. But the BBA does not own the property. We won't have insurance on the property. We're going to be restoring this mostly with volunteer and spending our money for the materials to do it. We would never do anything that would not that would be devastation to the town. You know, we wouldn't do that.
Will it be gated?
We would like for it to be gated. I think we sent you all.
Yeah,
You haven't. We would like for it to be gated. Now, whether you want to lock the gate or just leave it open, that would be the town's decision. Whether you want to open it part of the day, you know, through the day, lock it at night or whatever, that would be your decision. The fencing and the gating is one of the important parts of sprucing this area up, because it's just, it gives you that effects of a beautiful little city park area there. It also hopefully will keep, you know, trash and so forth from getting into this area and creating problems. So,
Now, Ms. Wills, have you all considered that it is next door to an ABC store?
yes, we do.
That'd be a great place to lay down after having a nice belt.
Well, it would, you actually can't go in there and drink, right? I mean, honestly, you can only go in there and purchase those to take out, right?
But if there's
It's
a nice
not, I
park
mean,
next
you
door.
can't go in and actually, it's not a bar. Yes, we do know that there's an AB store there, but they, you know, they buy it now and it's an empty spot, so.
Well, Lois, I mean, first of all, the BBA does great things, and we're very grateful for what you guys do. I've been a member of the BBA for a long time, since I came to town, so thank you for what you do. And when you come to us with this, you know, a question like this, there's the things that we have to think about, because we've got a budget to look at, we've got liability to think about, we have lawyers sitting around. These are the things that we have to think about. So is somebody going to get, he's just sitting around, he's not paying attention. So is someone going to get smashed by the gate, and what happens? And we're going to have to employ another person to work with David's crew to maintain it, to water it. Is there water there? Do we have to put water there? Are we going to have to? So those are the types of questions. It's not that we would ever want to stop you from doing any beautification. Please beautify your heart away. Love it. We just have, because the town owns it, we do have to ask these types of questions. So what comes to mind for me is it's a public use area, and there won't be any type of sign-up sheet or anything. Anyone can go at any time. Is that the intention of the BBA?
That's our intention, is just to put a beautiful area there, just like all the parks are now. This would just be an area there on Pine Street that beautifies it, and you can go in and sit. We can't stop them now from buying their booze and going to the Batesburg Park or going to the Leesville Park. We can't stop them from doing that now. Sure, there's an ABC store right next to this area, but that being there shouldn't stop us from beautifying that area for our community. You know, so I don't have, I don't know what the town's plans are.
Well, what would you feel that the town's responsibilities, what would the BBA feel that the town's responsibilities would be once it was created?
Once it is beautified, then it's the town's property. You know, it is your property. We're not gonna put anything on there. You're gonna have to hire someone. I would not think you would have to hire someone to come in and keep it up. But it is the town's property. It's not being kept up now.
Right.
It's horrendous.
Yes.
So what we're proposing is to spend money that we have raised to beautify it. And it not be beautified in an area that would be high upkeep for the town.
Okay.
So, sure, the town would have to maintain it.
The town will be responsible for the insurance.
We are.
Well, you're already.
We already are, it would be no.
But anything else, other than that, you would finance it yourself?
As far as the construction.
We're
The
financing,
construction and everything,
yes,
you finance.
yes. The money that will be spent on this property will be coming from the Batesburg
Open to the public.
Business Association.
All right. The money that the BBA has raised so far, will all of that be spent on this, Lois, or will we have enough to work on more of the area along Pine Street,
Yes.
especially that portion of it?
Yes,
You don't anticipate all of the raised funds to be,
No,
okay.
we do not, because of what you're looking at there. Much of that, well, the BBA's already raised most of the money to do that, plus we have other money too, but also we have volunteers that are gonna be donating to this project as well. So hopefully, at the end of this, we're gonna have a lot more funds left to go, and we will continue to raise funds to finish, or to help enhance other areas of Pine Street. And once we can get Pine Street, which is so heavily traveled in our district, once we can get that done, then we hope that we'll have far more interest in the owners of the buildings that now need much work in our district to come forward and want to enhance theirs as well. This is a starting point for us with trying to improve our community. It's hard to go out and ask for money. It's hard to get a donation when you don't show them where their money they gave us 3 years ago has been spent. And it's just sitting there, it needs to be spent. We've gotten some grant money that's coming in. We've got one grant that, I'm struggling with keeping because I keep asking for an extension on the deadline that we did for this.
What's that deadline?
Some of you have been at our fundraisers with our dinner on the rail, with this in mind to doing this. So what we're not, the BBA is not asking the council to contribute to the actual beautification. We will let you know every aspect of what we're doing as we're doing that. If there is a problem with it, we'll work through that. But we don't anticipate having any problems with what would bring headaches or heartaches to you guys, to the council.
Ms. Lewis, thank you and BBA for taking the initiative
Thank you.
to start revitalizing the Batesburg district.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks for being a champion.
Ms. Lewis,
Yes.
now, I'm not gonna support this unless y'all bring back the Harvest Festival that y'all did, the Fall Festival that you did on
Steve's a gardener.
on the Main Street. That I like, that was good. But Mr. Mayor, I'd support all projects. I think the town should support all projects that improve the communities throughout the town of Batesburg-Leesville.
So do we have a motion on the table?
We do.
We do, right? On the floor, do we want to clarify that for everyone?
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
who made the motion?
Mr. Charles,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I think just clarify that if we could, and then we'll call for a vote. Yeah, clarify the motion, please.
To allow the Batesburg Business Association to make improvements to the lot on Pine Street in an effort to beautify the surrounding community.
Thank you, Charles, and I'm going to call for the vote. District 1?
Yes.
2?
Yes.
3?
District 3 votes yes.
4?
District 4 votes yes.
5?
Yes.
6?
I'd just like to say that in relation to Councilman King's remarks, that we probably would love to bring the Fall Harvest Festival back if we just had a lot more folks help us and participate in getting that done.
Well, I move that the dream catchers.
Let's finish our vote first, and then we'll continue on, ladies and gentlemen.
District 6 votes absolutely yes.
7?
Yes.
8?
Yes.
And Mayor votes yes, it passes. Thank you, Lois.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We're looking forward to dinner in the alley in
There
the
you go.
future.
There you go. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Sir?
I make a request that Lois and Tim Sherman get together for the plans of what to do in there, since the town's gonna assume responsibility for the upkeep and maintenance, and what hours. And chief, what hours will that park be open?
I tell you what, we will iron out a plan for.
Let's iron out, we'll iron out some more details. Yep, it'll be Tim, but.
Thank you, Tim.
Okay, perfect. Moving on, item 10, the manager's report. Item A, Mr. Luckadoo, if you would approach the stand, please.
All right.
Come up.
Please, come up. Please come up here. Item A, Walmart grant awarded to the fire department. take your time.
I was waiting for the mic to cut on. All right, I'm just doing something a little different. I need to stretch my legs by this point in the meeting, so I figured I would come up here and give the manager's report.
It would be item A, Walmart grant award to fire department.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
We are happy to say that the fire department received notification on March 23rd that they had received a $1,500 grant from our local Walmart. This will be used to purchase a training mannequin, which is important. They can practice first responder on this mannequin. They can use it to simulate firemen's carries during rescue inside of burning buildings. There are many, many uses that they can use a mannequin on, because I can tell you, as a previous fireman, being the mannequin, sometimes you get beat around pretty hard. So
Mr. Holman can't hear me.
I can tell you, being the mannequin sometimes in the past, you do get beat around pretty hard. So this mannequin will certainly provide, be proven to be an asset to the fire department. We should receive a check in 4 to 6 weeks to purchase this mannequin.
Question,
Yes,
is this a CPR mannequin or is this a full body mannequin solely to simulate the saving of a?
It's a full body fire mannequin, 150 pounds.
So basically for rescue operations,
Yes.
not for life saving?
Kind of thing weighs more than me.
Thank you. Any other questions on item A?
Wait, so is it CPR or not?
No, it's not.
Okay, all right, okay.
Item B, town egg hunt.
If anyone attended the town egg hunt this year, it grew in mass numbers for about the 3rd consecutive year.
Fantastic.
Just absolutely, people parked all the way down Main Street, past Mi Rancho. We thought we basically doubled our egg count this year and figured it would last longer than 30 to 45 seconds for the egg hunts, and much to our surprise, that lasted about 30 to 45 seconds because the crowd grew. It's growing at a rate that we can't seem to keep up with, so we've got to continue each year to plan for increased size. I think the big thing is we have people from outside our community now coming in to take advantage of our egg hunt, where previously it was mostly in-town residents that did this. So it's a very positive thing. We estimated over 1,000 people were in attendance at this event. Do want to give a special thanks to the chamber, the dream catchers, the food truck vendors, Dippin' Dogs, the Pop Stop, Coffee Stop Wine Shop, and Karen's Mobile Kitchen. The food vendors were very successful at this event. They were very pleased. With that, this was kind of a test run on having the food truck rodeo concept at a town event. So with the success of that, we will start looking at having this at some other town events that we have, maybe National Night Out, things like that we have in the future because of that success. We want to thank Huron Baptist Church for coming out and providing cotton candy, the Leesville Merchants Association and Batesburg Business Association for monetary contributions. Each of them contributed $250 towards the town egg hunt this year. And Carl Clary always comes out and does a wonderful job with his music, although he is retiring from that, so we will have to find another direction on the DJ. That might moonlight with DJing in the future. So,
just find a 9-year-old with an iPhone.
in a Bluetooth.
Paying $20.
Again, dream catchers. Susan's back here. They man the games. They bring a lot of bodies, and with this growth, from a town employee standpoint, it's hard for us to get enough people out there to provide for the games and everything that we have to do to entertain the children. They bring a lot of bodies out there, and we appreciate their contribution in that as well.
Thank you.
Next.
Item C, recycling event.
Had another great recycling event. If you attended that, chances are you had a poncho on or you had an umbrella in your hand, as it did rain for most of the event. But despite that, there were more than 260 individuals that participated in this year's event. Collected hundreds of tires, 6,400 pounds of paper were shredded at the event, and there was 27,735 pounds or 13.87 tons of electronics recycled this day.
Teddy, who are the young people who manned that?
We had people from the high school and
The JROTC.
JROTC
Great bunch of kids.
and assisted with that. And if you have not worked one of these events and had to unload electronics and tires out back of trucks, it is hard work, especially trying to keep people moving with the crowds that come. So we appreciate all volunteer help. We appreciate the Batesburg-Leesville High School, Lexington School District 3 for allowing us to use that parking lot. That you need a lot of space to spread out to keep the cars moving and not have them lying down the main road. So we appreciate.
Was that mostly town people, or was it?
It's open to Lexington County residents.
Okay.
But I will say, considering the rain, we had 100 less people than they had at the Gilbert, the Gilbert event, and despite that, we received way more actual electronics than what they did. So it's really good turnout. We're happy about that.
Comparing us to Gilbert now.
He said, that's getting a little, no, Springdale's what I meant, Springdale.
Oh, all right.
Sorry. I was wrong on my town, Springdale.
Thank you. Item E, wastewater treatment plant fiber optics upgrades.
This is yet again, another improvement to technology for the town. Right now, our wastewater treatment plant currently for internet uses a Verizon Air card. There is no Time Warner cable, there's no internet of any kind that is run out to the waste that far out. Well, because of Mid-Carolina's new Carolina Connect, happened to be right down the road and saw that they put a sign that they are coming to that area. So we met with them, and we are going to be having fiber optic internet run from Carolina Connect down to our wastewater treatment plant. SCADA systems, you've heard us talk about installing SCADA systems on our water and sewer system to be able to remotely monitor what our systems are doing. With a Verizon Air card, I can assure you we would never be able to put a SCADA system in at the wastewater treatment plant. So getting this fiber optic cable out there is the first step towards trying to install SCADA for future technology improvements. So we're excited about this. Our guys will actually be installing all the conduit from the road, and if you've been to our wastewater treatment plant, from the road to the actual plant is a pretty good distance. So our crews are going to go out there and trench and actually put the PVC pipe and the pull boxes in the ground, and then all Mid-Carolina has got to do is come in and pull the cable through and hook it up.
And item E, Ridgel Street water tank improvements.
Don't know if you guys have ridden by, but the crews are out there. They've been out there for a couple of weeks now. They are basically done with all the repairs, the repair work that needs to be done. They've been on the inside sandblasting and putting the coatings on. They are moving to the outside at this point, and they should be out within the next 2, maybe 3 weeks, Tim?
Depending on the weather.
Depending on weather. Next 2 to 3 weeks, they should be done. So they're rocking along, and they are anticipated to be done way ahead of schedule.
Awesome. Sewer lift station improvements, item F.
Again, another grant for the town, CDBG, AAA Utilities. They have visited all the pump stations, and they have done the plans for the bypass pumping at each of those. They have designed the control panels and gotten those ordered, and the drawing packages are expected to be submitted soon for approval, and once that's done, they should get to work on starting to install all the new control panels and bypass pumping and auxiliary backup generation at each of these. And I believe they're going to work one pump station at a time. Am I correct? That's correct. Rather than doing control panels at each one, then generation at each one, they will work each pump station one at a time and get them done.
So this will take care of what you've been doing and paying the $80,000 each year to repair. It will take care of that, right?
I think this is not the floating aeration at the wastewater treatment plant, which is what I think you're referring to. This is the actual, we have 12 sewer lift stations that are around town that force the sewage back to the wastewater treatment plant.
Okay.
Those are very old and antiquated as well and need lots of improvements. We're upgrading our 4 major sewer lift stations.
All right.
Thank you, Teddy, and thanks
Is that all that's on my
But
list?
I got something for Teddy.
Is this about the live PD that is going to start at the wastewater treatment plant because they have internet now, so they can stream a YouTube channel?
Okay.
Was there something else?
All right. That's cool. I wanted to thank you for having those shoes removed from the wire. The gangs mark their territory by throwing tennis shoes up and they wrap around the wire. And that's how you know that this is gang territory. So I appreciate you getting that down. And the bridge on Line Street with Councilwoman Etheridge, that was also, the engineer called and said that the bridge is structurally sound. And they're gonna try to do some resurfacing so that you don't
Build it back up.
yeah, so you don't bounce around there. But now Mike did say that he acknowledged that sidewalks would be helpful along that Line Street corridor. So if we could get on a list for the county, the state, I don't know who does that, if we need to call Katrina.
The best possible avenue for sidewalks is the SCDOT TAP grant program, which is the one that we are currently in with.
So let's take that, if we could, let's take a look at that. I want us to back on the agenda.
Okay.
Anybody else, real quick?
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, and thank you, staff, and everyone for getting the report out this month. Executive session number 11, we have 4 items tonight. Discussion of a lease agreement between the Twin City Association and the town for basketball court. Discussion of contractual matters relating to advanced disposal contract. Item C, discussion of possible contractual matters relating to the water project. And item D, discussion of personnel matters related to the town manager evaluation and contract. Do I have a motion?
Motion to convene an executive session to discuss the aforementioned item.
Second? Second by Jim Mitchell. Any discussion? District 1?
Yes.
2?
Yes.
3?
3 votes yes.
4?
District 4 votes yes.
5?
Yes.
6?
Yes.
7?
Yes.
8?
Yes.
And I vote yes. It passes, and we are now in executive session.
Mayor, I move we adjourn. Executive session.
We are, there we go. Where's my thing? Returning from executive session, I have a motion from Olin and a second by Charles. Any discussion? District 1?
Yes.
2?
Yes.
3?
Yes.
4?
District 4 votes yes.
5? 6?
Yes.
7?
Yes.
8, and I vote yes. We are back from executive
Yes.
session. Sorry, I keep, I'm speeding. I'm so sorry. I'll buy you water. Okay, and action items coming out of executive session. Do I have any motions?
Yes, I move that we re-enter a updated contract with Advanced Disposal based on their newly proposed pricing.
Motion by Councilmember Prouse.
Second.
Second by Simpkins. Any discussion? District 1?
Yes.
2?
Yes.
3?
Yes.
4?
District 4 votes yes.
5? 6?
Yes.
7?
Yes.
8?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Do I have, let's see, item 12, potential actions, item 13, potential agenda items for next month's meeting, April 9th, 2018. For the next month's meeting, April 9th, 2018. On the work session, I think we need to look at a second reading on the Poultry Festival. Is that possible?
The Poultry Festival.
The holiday schedule?
Yeah.
Second reading of the holiday schedule?
And a full review of every change that's been done?
No, just for the work session so we can get the holiday, do we need to get the holiday schedule set? Is that what we have a first reading, a second reading for the holiday schedule change?
Before we
Just-
get to repeal and replace.
Just the holiday schedule. Just the holiday schedule.
The one we
A
covered-
second reading, yes, on the work session. Okay, thank you. And then what am I forgetting? Anything else? Okay.
We'll actually have a special meeting.
We'll play it by, we'll work on that, guys. And then, all right, item 14, do I have a motion? Councilman Kane and Gambrell, any discussion? No, District 1?
Yes.
2? District 2? 3?
Yes.
4?
This is 4 votes yes.
5? 6?
Yes.
7?
Yes.
8?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your time.